Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
Damn it, Brian, what the hell am I gonna do now? I haven't screwed up this bad since I bought Joe Piscopo that barbell set. All right, Joe, now don't get carried away with this.
Don't worry, Peter. I'll only work out during my downtime.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Hi, Doug. Welcome to Zombieland.
Listen, Mongo. Animal's not out here in 10 seconds. We're gonna kick some honorable
Sounds like some bad movie.
Hello. Scott looks a little angry.
Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 173 of Moviesucktastic.
Yes, episode 173, where we are going to try and review the film Dead Heat.
Yes.
So far, it ain't working out so great.
Let's not jinx it.
Well.
Stop. So. Yes, Dead Heat, 1988 action comedy horror film in the long-standing vein of tradition of Return of the Living Dead Part 2. As far as being bad.
Yeah.
Which I challenged to you.
You did. I already have my movie challenge picked for you. There is no contesting it. You probably already even know it if you did any homework. If you just looked at just this much, if you looked at, you probably already know what the challenge is going to be. It has to be this movie.
Couple possibilities.
Yeah.
But this, I challenged this to you because Joe Piscopo was in our last film, Wise Guys.
That's right.
And this is a personal favorite film of mine. I grew up with this film. So
Same here.
And we've mentioned it frequently on the show in the past, so it was about time that Dead Heat got the Moviesucktastic treatment.
That's right. And it is such a bad movie. This entire movie, I don't know if he ad-libbed a lot or they gave him artistic freedom as well, but it's catered to him. All these one-liners, okay, you're the funny guy.
Right.
We're going to make sure that we try and get that across.
Now, they're catered to him, definitely not improvised. They're catered to him, but he doesn't pull them off.
No.
Because he's constant. It's like he's never had to deliver a line straight because he keeps smirking at the jokes. And there's always this, and you can tell it's not improvised because there's always a setup, a pause. He delivers the line. Then there's a pause for mugging to the camera or whoever, like they're waiting for laughter. That's not there. So that uncomfortable silence.
Right, like if this was a TV show, that was where you would insert the canned laughter.
Yeah.
Just a laugh track. Insert here.
There's a couple of points where you're actually just sitting there watching. They're waiting for people to stop laughing.
They do it through the whole film, too. And I remember watching this with my parents, and I remember my parents laughing at those parts.
You know,
a lot.
I remember laughing at some of these parts. Of course, in 1988, so I was,
I was 13
12,
years old. I was
13.
12.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old. Yeah, I was 12 years old.
So I'm allowed.
Well, I mean, we're allowed because we were kids.
That's what I'm saying. That was the point.
And now we get to dissect it.
Wow. Well, the film, one of the reasons I wanted to review this, because it's one of these films that came out during the MPAA's attack on horror films in the late 80s. There was this huge surge of the family Christian Family League, whatever the fuck they're called,
right.
and television shows, and the MPAA cracking down on these horrible violent films that are perverting our youth, and they proceeded to take all the gore out of these films. And this is one that I distinctly remember reading Fangoria magazine and all these pictures, and this is this special effect and this special effect, and you watch the film and they're all gone.
Yeah,
and there's some.
You could tell where they blew their budget. There's that one scene, where they blew their budget.
Yeah, and you can also tell where they cut a lot of stuff out, because there's scenes where the all of a sudden the editing is choppy, or it keeps cutting the close-ups of someone's face or something. It's like, yeah, there was something there. There's something there. Yep. And now we don't get that. And now all we're stuck with is dialogue and story, which this film does not have enough of. Right. If I can give a brief synopsis, the films that take on D.O.A., it's two cops, and instead of one being poisoned and has to find out who killed him before he dies, he's killed, resurrected, and has to find out who killed him before he dies again.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I was just pausing if you had anything to say.
No. I'm on a boiling pot right now.
So it's Treat Williams, probably one of his I regret doing that roles, and Joe Piscopo at the tail end of his whatever his career was. This was pretty much close to the end of it, and story is not that strong. It's almost like watching a mystery that was written for children. None of the clues make any sense. There's one point where he finds a code written on the inside of a lampshade in a mortuary.
Right. Well, and what's when that scene happens, I'm like, if he wanted him to find it, why is it on the inside of a fucking lampshade? Leave it out on the table.
Like, and he used the code based on telephone numbers, and it's and that's it's one of those. It's just one of those things. We got the woman. Oh, look, in her purse. It's a video. It's a video diary of an old rich guy who happens to be her father. Fancy that being there. Let's go on to the next clue. It's just one of those.
There's a few scenes in the film that are like that, where you said with the phone thing. How about when Treat Williams' character's Roger, his character is in the compression room, and Joe Piscopo is trying to break the glass with his arm. When he just beat the living shit out of some monster with a steel container that would have easily broken the glass,
and not shooting at the glass either,
or not shooting at the glass.
Now,
and then later he's like, "If I could only have gotten that door open." Yeah, dumbass. Now, it's like you barely feel bad about it, don't you?
It's one of those things where, like, I feel guilty razzing the film for certain things, because I know why they were doing it and what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
The whole idea was we need to kill this character, Treat Williams, Roger Mortis.
He could have tried to break the glass and failed. That could have been done better.
Right, but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So Roger Mortis, I love the name. They need to kill him in a way that he looks like he's not dead, so the film can slowly go through the progression of making him look more and more like a zombie.
Yeah, I forgot his name was a take on rigor mortis. As a kid, as a kid, I didn't catch it when I was a kid. But as an adult, I'm like, oh,
So they're trying to kill him in a way that doesn't maim him at all.
Right.
So they can even have that. I'm not dead. What are you talking about? Oh, look, I cut myself and no blood. But
yeah, and that was a kill cut too.
Just. Oh, look, I accidentally severed a major artery. How lucky.
Yeah, in the right direction.
Even though he hit the glass to the back of his hand.
Yeah, well.
But so I know in order to do this, they set up the thing where there's this decompression chamber where this pharmaceutical company kills dogs after they're done experimenting with chemicals on them. I'm cool with that, and I understand why they do that. But of course, this is a thing. This is a containment. This is a decompression chamber to kill animals, small animals. Mm-hmm. So of course, it's big enough to fit two Volkswagens in, standing on end.
Of course.
And it's a death chamber with no safety Now, all right, 80s, I buy this. No safety features at all to prevent someone from accidentally getting locked inside and dying.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. And why wouldn't they even have that? Because it's for animals.
Definitely not OSHA standards. And why would they not? Well, but
it's for animals. If you're only using it, listen, if it was intended to kill people, I would understand why there wouldn't be anything inside.
All right. Cardboard balers, for example, are meant to bale cardboard. They're not meant to bale humans. However, they do have safeguards to prevent you from dying in one.
Okay.
But, again, why...
No, that wasn't my point. I'm sorry. Oh. My point was if it was intended to actually kill humans, like on purpose, I get why there wouldn't be a switch inside.
Okay. I got the other way around there, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, if it's meant to kill animals, it's like, yeah, you should put something in there because in case, somebody gets caught, you want to get out.
And if it's not meant to kill humans, why does it seat 20? Yeah. So, but it's an excuse to kill them and then bring them back.
Well, you know what's funny about that scene, too? Throughout the whole film, as an adult, if I had never seen this, it would have been easy to figure out. Because as a kid, or even just when it came out, they try and hide the fact that it's the body doc, the guy from A Christmas Story.
You ruined it. Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Oh, boy. Yeah, you don't see that coming in the first 5 minutes. But anyway, when Roger is in the containment, the compressed air decompressor. You see a hand come over and press a button. It's the same suit he's wearing. The only difference is he's wearing a black glove.
Let's rephrase that. A hand doesn't come out and press a button. A hand comes out and presses 3 of the 27 different buttons and slides there are to control one room that sucks the air out and kills dogs.
Well, that is true.
They've got like 20 safeguards on that end. Inside the chamber, nothing.
But my point is, they didn't even change his suit, like what he was wearing.
Well, no, of course not.
In the next scene, after he's dead, he comes out and he's like, obviously he's faking it. It's like you're wearing the same suit. The only difference is you're wearing a glove.
He should have even had the same gloves on, too. So, let me take off these gloves that I don't
Why did he even need to wear a glove? He works there. His fingerprints are on everything anyway.
No, he doesn't work there. He works for the county.
But his office is there.
No. Was it? No, he's a city morgue. His office. That was the pharmaceutical company. That was not where his office was. City morgue.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I thought he had like 2 jobs there and the morgue.
No. Well, he did have a second job there, but it was a criminal job. He wasn't on the payroll per se.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are correct, but not in the way you
thought. Not in the way that I want to be.
Talk about a film that needs to be remade today.
When I was looking for the trailer for this, there was another film called Dead Heat that's not that old. And I was like, oh, wait, did they remake this? Maybe it was like an Australian or just maybe even Europe or just somewhere else. And it's just another movie with the same name. So I got kind of excited for no reason.
I mean, talk about a film for the same budget. If you just took the same budget they had back then, which wasn't much, with CGI today and digital and all this, I mean, it's just they could have made this movie so much better. Sure. Probably got some decent writing. Now, the writer of the film, Terry Black, this is the only film he wrote. This was his writing debut.
Unless that's not his real name, and he's writing successfully under like his real name, but I doubt it.
I don't think so.
No.
After
you don't
he wrote-
escape from a movie like this.
It almost feels like he wrote this as his way of getting into writing for Tales from the Crypt, because he wrote 3 episodes of that after this, and then he just wrote some other television shows. I think Tales from the Crypt is probably the best of that he did. Yeah, not a great screenplay. Again, you know what? Maybe this was rushed out. Maybe it was one of those. Here's a poster. Anyway, yeah. For all I know, there was reasons why the film sucked as far as writing goes, but this guy didn't write anything else. So either this film killed his career before it started, or he didn't have much of one to begin with.
Right.
And then the director.
Yeah.
He's
only directed like 4 things, and this being one of them.
The only other feature film he directed was The Punisher.
Yeah.
The 1989 one with what's
Dolph
his name?
Lundgren.
Mr. Lundgren. Yes.
Dolph Lundgren.
Wow.
Dolph.
So now,
Mr.
compared to
Sweden.
this, a better film.
Punisher?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to this, a better film. Now, I'm not saying I don't like this movie. I'm just willing to admit it's bad.
It's very bad. And for all intents and purposes, I remember The Punisher I remember liking it because I felt I should have. Because I've always liked the Punisher character, you know?
Yeah, it had its moments.
I remember Chris, he had a life-size cutout of Dolph Lundgren, cardboard cutout from the film The Punisher.
And she still does.
Maybe.
Now,
He might have given it to one of his brothers.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now, the one line that jumped out at me in the film was when he's joking about after Treat Williams comes back from the dead. He said, "I feel so good. I feel like I could run the Boston Marathon." And then Joe Piscopo says, "No, you can't do that. They don't let you compete in the Boston Marathon when you're dead." And I probably wouldn't have clued in on that line if we weren't in the middle of the sentencing of the guy who bombed the Boston Marathon.
Right. There's a couple of instances where it's like shit that they do in this is creepy. Like when he hits the guy with his car, there was just that video just not more than 10 days 2 weeks ago where they had the video of that cop hitting that guy walking down the street because he was carrying a gun. It's like I saw the Boston thing, and I'm like, oh my God. He goes, yeah, they don't let anybody in to the Boston Marathon. They're very strict now.
Yeah. Especially if you got backpacks.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too soon.
Hey, no.
But yeah,
Too soon.
a couple of creepy moments like that. And now the important thing to remember is yeah. Wasn't I starting to talk about how it was the 80s and they were coming down to these horror films?
No, that was earlier.
That was remaking it. I haven't a fucking clue now. The best part of the film for me is the progression of the character's outfit, persona, as he begins to rot and gets wounds and has to change clothing, and then there's the ambulance crash, and then he's got this shrapnel in his face, and it almost kind of makes you wish that the film had real pacing so you could enjoy that.
And you're right, a remake nowadays would take advantage of that completely.
Not even that, but the film itself, in a weird way, is still very topical. Rich people's God wants us to live forever. You can afford not to die.
Right. Give me half of your fortune. You have the rest of your life, the infinity, to make it back.
I have no. I'm just exhausted from hate right now. I would definitely buy a screenplay, a plot that involves rich people, trying to stay immortal. Maybe switch it around a bit so they're actually feeding off the lives of other people. Something, make it a bit more sinister. And then special effects. What I was thinking. There were some parts where you could tell they were toning down the blood a lot to try to beat the censors.
Yeah.
The black costume. There were scenes with black blood, and it got me to thinking: what if you took this and crossed it with street trash?
Oh yeah.
I mean, still keep the zombie angle, but just had that almost surreal.
Street Trash was only made a year earlier too. It's amazing how 1 year, like you said, that they were really cracking down. It's like 1 year made such a difference.
Well, Street Trash didn't exactly get a major, theatrical release either, so that helped them.
That is true, but it still had to get its MPAA, so...
Well, right, and a lot of that had to do with, again, like the multicolored ooze, not using actual blood. It just, if the director and writer of Dead Heat had a bit more imagination, which, again, I still say Street Trash, fucking brilliant screenplay.
Oh, yeah.
Severed penis football and all. A bit more imagination into Dead Heat, and it could have been a lot better. Yes, it was hampered by restrictions on the violence and budget, et cetera, but there are films that have accomplished far more with far less.
Yeah. The budget on this was $5 million, too, which I guess for the time, I guess that wasn't a lot of money.
Oh, not at all, especially when you're considering how much it cost.
Think of it this way. Batman was made the following year for, I think, $40 or $50 million.
And special effects are so much more expensive back then, too, because everything's
Sure.
old school.
Yeah.
They got to build all this shit.
Yep, and stop motion animation in some shots. The most expensive part of the film was the scene in the bathroom with the girl. I mean, they blew their budget on that.
Which is a shame because, yeah. It's a shame because it wasn't that good of a scene.
No, it really wasn't. And the plot twist that's involved in it, it's like, yeah, even for this, I'm not buying it for a second. It's like all of a sudden, what was she getting? Like daily, charges from this machine? I mean, how does she all of a sudden the same day decompose quicker than him?
Yeah. Well, and if they had bothered to, they could have explained away a lot of that, but they didn't even have the time. Yeah. They didn't take the time. I mean, also, this film kind of reminds me a bit of Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Similar plot line. You could easily just take that plot line and just change it a bit, and you have Dead Heat. Just insert cops instead of a lover's triangle.
That is true.
It's just one of those films that you want to like so much just because the subject matter and it's kind of fun and it's that kind of 80s cop humor and horror humor. It's got a charm to it, at least for me because I grew up with it, but it's just bad.
It is very bad.
It's so bad that I actually think I might disagree with the IMDb rating. I think it might be too high. That's how bad it is.
I'm gonna still own this film though.
Oh no,
I'm not gonna take it out of my collection.
I actually got a better copy. I got a nice letterbox copy.
I have to actually recommend this to somebody. My nephew's girlfriend, she's a makeup artist, and she's she went to school for it, and she's getting some decent gigs, some Hollywood stuff. She did a couple of things in New York. There's a TV show where people dress up in makeup. There's a whole bunch of things that
don't narrow it down any further there.
Well, no, it's like, how they have like fucking cupcake wars? Well, they have like makeup wars.
Okay. You mean like special effects makeup?
Right.
Right,
someone with a
bullet
hole in their face or scars on whatever.
Because most people on TV are wearing makeup. That doesn't really...
Yeah, no, she's like a makeup artist. Like special effects stuff, like blood and guts and cool stuff like that. And the first time I ever met her, she told me this. And I started recommending a lot of movies from the 70s and the 80s and even some from the 90s. And this one, I might have mentioned it. I don't remember if I did, but I am going to mention it now because she loves this stuff. Like this, quirky, kind of shitty makeup stuff, but still kind of cool. So it's bad, but I'm still going to recommend it.
Yeah, it's just like all the big set pieces just aren't, even back then, weren't that impressive. There's when they go into the Chinese butcher shop, and the guy flips a switch and makes all the dead animals come to life. And it's like, yeah, okay, the liver attacks him, and now there's a giant bull. I don't know. It's not, you're not grabbing me.
Yeah, and how many one-liners did Piscopo have in that scene?
Oh, fuck.
It's like, now I'm a vegetarian. Let's pour A1 sauce on it. I mean,
this little piggy's going to market.
It's like one-liner after terrible one-liner after another. Realistically, he probably had 7 or 8 one-liners in that scene alone.
Oh, and again, none of them. He had 2 good lines, and for the life of me, I can't remember them because they're just overwhelmed by all the other bad lines he had.
You know what the most natural delivery by him, in my opinion, was in the entire film?
I'll give you mine after yours. Yeah.
Was when it's in the beginning of the movie.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, it's when they get back from...
I think we have the exact same part we're talking about. Go ahead.
Maybe not. Mine is, I think, more subtle.
Ahead.
But it's in the beginning of the film, right after the bank heist or the jewelry heist. They go back and Treat Williams, Roger, he's talking about how some people, they're on PCP and, it's like, oh, they got all superhuman strength. And he's like, nah, that's bullshit. The most...
Exact same line.
Yeah. The most natural delivery for him in the whole movie. It's like, you know what? If he did that the whole movie, he might have gotten more gigs.
I have a feeling he didn't realize the cameras were on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's bullshit, Raj. Like,
That's bullshit, Raj. Exactly.
Yeah, the director had no real knack for comedy pacing, and the screenwriter didn't really have a knack for realistic dialogue or snappy dialogue. And considering the fact the film is technically a remake of D.O.A. or a take on D.O.A., it could have gotten away with your like noirish hackneyed lines, which it tries to do in some spots, but just never really fully gels.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. Now, what year did the original D.O.A. come out in? Is that a 60s movie?
No, I think it's 50s.
Is it 50s?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because the ironic thing is 1950. Because the one with Dennis Quaid was made the same year as this. Mm-hmm. They both came out in 88.
I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with it.
Which one came out first? Because didn't you say the one that comes out first is always the rushed one?
Well, only when they're trying to rip them off. But in this case, even now, I would say that D.O.A. was probably the first one, and then it's, oh, hey, someone else is doing that, we should do that. Oh, with dead people, yeah, get a budget together.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think it was trying to compete with it, which is where that rule usually applies. Rushing it out before the original.
Well, I know Dead Heat came out in May 6th, so we're reviewing this almost a year to the day that it came out.
A year?
I mean, no, I'm sorry, like 28 years to the day. That's what I meant to say. So it's interesting that it came out in May.
27?
I thought it came out May 6th, but
no, you mean 20? I mean 27 years. You mean, right?
Came out in 88. So it's you're right. It's 27 years.
Just double checking. All right, threw me off. Math.
Yeah, I'm actually decent at it, but not tonight. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling.
I can't think of any actor in this film who, if you approached them now or before they died, and if they're dead, and asked them what film they regret being in, that any of them would not say this film. I can't think of any actor or actress here in this film in which didn't have a better career at some point.
Yeah.
Or had anything. I mean, if you ignore some of the direct-to-video shit that Treat Williams has been doing lately, if you ignore that to say theatrical release, he'd have to point to this. I can't think of anything else he did.
Yeah, because Treat Williams actually did a few good things after this movie.
And before.
Oh, he was a bona fide movie star before this. I wouldn't say that this was the decline for him, because he did do a couple of good movies after this. But one being probably the best film he did after this was probably Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Mm-hmm. That's probably the best thing he ever did after this film. Which I think came like 10 years later.
I like Deep Rising.
You gotta love Deep Rising.
Which was 10 years later as well.
I think Things to Do in Denver was 95 or 96.
95. It was 95.
Okay. So, and I really don't know much about his resume after that. I know he did. Didn't he take over for Tom Berenger in the Substitute movies?
He did.
Oh, dear
It
Lord.
was, I forget if it was the second or the third one. But
I think they got Tom Berenger back for the second. I think he got it from the third film on.
Yeah. Whichever one it was direct to video.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And Joe Piscopo, forget about it.
Forget about it.
I can't see. Oh, man.
Poor Joe.
If there's not a better example of just how shitty Saturday Night Live is as a whole, that it cranks out like these people that are supposed to be great comedic talents, and then like you put them in films and it's like, oh, okay, no, you were only good at getting laughs when everybody was like coming to you for a show and everybody was expecting to laugh, and so they laughed when you did stupid shit, but you're not funny.
Yeah, when he was having everything written for him, he had more laughs than he deserved. Made a career out of it. For what short time that it was, but he did make a career out of it.
Not a long one, but yeah, he did have a bit of a career.
I think he's been married like 3 times. It's like, how can you get married and divorced? What money are you splitting? What Joe Piscopo money are you splitting?
At that point, he's probably going in with less money than they have. He's probably making out at the end.
Maybe. He's like, listen, I got nothing to split. You can have the house.
You splitting with me now.
At one point, he thought he was so famous that he could leave his wife for his babysitter, which he did.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
didn't he like groom her too? Like
yeah, oh, yeah.
Like she was underage, and he like kind of like.
I don't know if she was underage, but she was
raised
young.
her. He's like she was young at one point, and like he raised her. You know what I mean?
Or maybe she came over to watch his kids so much it was like he raised her.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like he was with her, but he wasn't with her until the age of consent. Like he was kind of like molding her into like guiding in what she should become for him. I seem to remember something really, really creepy about him like that. Either him or there's maybe another comedian, but I think it was him.
Well, Woody Allen.
But same point, same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Except not actually, not an adopted child, because that would be a bit creepier.
Yeah.
I like
remember
this
when
film.
Joe. Yes, I like it too. I remember when Joe Piscopo was doing he did a lot of commercials in his career. I remember when he was doing Bally's commercials, the gym. Mm-hmm. Those were awful too. He's so bad. A friend of ours, a fan of the show, actually met him in an airport, and he was looking at her. She's like, "Yeah, I know who you are." She's got a picture with him and everything. I mean, I don't know.
Unlike other films from this time period that I love, I can't come up with like a really good line from the film. I can't really come up with anything that would. I can't really recommend the movie.
I think the best line in the film probably came from Treat Williams when the one girl, what was her name? Not Joni, the girl, the redhead, where she's telling him like, you're hurt, and he goes, "Lady, I'm fucking dead." That might be the best line in the film. Because Treat Williams is, he delivers it well. Better than any line in the film other than the one Joe Piscopo did.
But not really. Because, and again, this is the director's fault. I put it solely on the director. It's not a bad line, and he delivers it well enough, but there's so much of a pause.
Yeah, there's a pause everywhere.
There's huge pauses. Like, all right, pause for it to sink in with the audience before. No, get to the fucking punchline and move on. Your pacing sucks balls. Horrible. Shitty. Fucking no. Stop.
Here's the Chinese restaurant scene where it just starts off with Piscopo saying, "If your boss doesn't come out in 15 seconds, we're gonna kick some honorable ass."
Honorable ass.
Honorable ass.
Racist motherfucker.
That's like 1 of 10.
Fuck. Yeah,
anyway,
I just.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like, unlike other films from this time period we've done that I grew up with and loved. I can't say, oh, but the writing was great. Oh, this scene was awesome. No, there's really, I can't really point out anything that I could actually recommend. Say you'll like this part. You probably won't, but I did. I can't even explain why.
The only maybe the end when Rogers he's almost completely decomposed and he's in a don't give a fuck mode. Like the woman he loves, she's dead. You know, his best friend is dead. Come on, it's dead heat. You know, all of that. He's just like, fuck it. Maybe that transition, that 10-minute part of the film at the end, might be worth saying. You know what? It sucks, but when he's finally all completely zombied out, decomposing, it's that 10 minutes is good.
But and the problem is, it's 10 minutes instead of the third act. Well, that should have been the third act. Now, okay, let's wrap this shit up now, guys. We got 90 minutes. You know, we have a 90-minute window. We have to fill up.
And that's what a remake would do.
Oh, they could easily stretch this to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, just give
today.
it
Yeah, Peter Jackson do it.
No, you know who would do it? Who would actually do it pretty good? Special effects, everything. What's his face? Bad Boys, Transformers.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. I don't know why his name eluded me.
Not enough. He doesn't really do horror or horror comedy. I don't think. I don't know.
I think there would be less horror, but more comedy and blood. Well.
So beyond that, IMDb Dead Heat has 6 stars right now.
It's 6 out of 10. Is really that high?
I was shocked too.
How many? Okay, but how many votes?
Out of 4,347.
For a film like this, that's a lot.
Well, this is the kind of movie that most people don't bother even looking it up on IMDb unless they already have a soft spot for it. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe, yeah.
What are you thinking as far as rating?
I mean, it can't be a 6. We've given far better movies less than a 6. I would say I wouldn't go lower than a 5. This is an average horror film.
If you twisted my arm, I'd be willing to give it a 4 because it really does botch the story and dialogue more than is allowed. But I think this movie deserves a 5 for just what it is. Is okay. We made a film competently. Mm-hmm. We put enough stuff in there that it was sellable. And it's got enough in it that you don't really hate it, but it's not what anybody would call, by any stretch of the imagination, a good movie. It's just passable. I'm really, even though I like this film and grew up with it, I'm so on board with a 5.
I'm good with a 5.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, if you really twisted my arm, I could go 4, but I think it's an average movie. I don't think it's that much below average that it should have a 4.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, none of us are in the arm twisting mood, so 5 it is.
5.
And it's not taking me to. Oh, here we go. Demographics is the highest rating is 6 stars with 22%. Highest demographic is males under 18 with 7.3 stars.
Okay.
Adolescent boys love this fucking movie. And the lowest rank is oddly, the other end of the spectrum, the lowest rank is 5.3 stars with males aged 45 and older.
Oh my god.
I guess I think if you're like just a few years older than us, you're just not digging the whole 80s horror film thing.
Yeah, probably.
I guess. Females age 18 to 29 actually pulled a 6.8. That's kind of surprising.
Oh.
I guess they like.
Maybe because of the female leads in the movie. I don't know.
Or because Joe Piscopo flex in there. It's really pathetic. There's scenes like where he leans on the desk and he's like, he's maximizing, or at the end where he's shooting the Uzi, and it's like, okay, he must have been like doing curls for 15 minutes before they shot that scene just so he could like flex it right there. It's just.
Oh, you mean after he's throwing the darts?
No, I'm talking about that part. Yeah, when he's like leaning on the desk. But I'm talking about also at the end when he's shooting the Uzi. and he's flexing the camera.
Yeah. There's a couple of scenes. There's a couple of scenes where he's got his arms folded like this, and it's like bulging muscles on top of muscles. But in the beginning of the film, right after he does that's bullshit, Raj. He leans back and he does this with his arm, and it's like, the whole back of his arm. It's like, Jesus Christ, you got a fucking basketball on the back of your arm there, dude.
So, somebody must have been like off camera holding like a tall mirror so he could make sure that's how he. Oh, I want to show that. Yeah, that lattice my dose light on the side, or whatever the fuck it's
called.
The
director is like, yeah, fine, whatever. It's a paycheck.
Yeah. We gave you a different shirt, Joe. No, I'm wearing this one. Okay, Joe.
Whatever you want, Joe.
I would put good money on that not being a costume department shirt. I would put good money on Joe supplying his own wardrobe for this film.
It'd be hilarious if we could find that out.
I don't think
Joe Piscopo lives in New Jersey. He does a radio show on AM radio. I bet we could get him on the show.
What else is he doing? He's on AM radio.
For a Christian radio station.
You're shitting me, really? He's probably got his audience is probably just as big as ours.
Maybe. He, I don't think he talks Christian stuff like, the Bible, this and this and that, but it's on a Christian radio station, so he's very PC. He's very clean. He's not edgy in the least. Shit like he's not even treading water. He's like, this is a job I need.
Well, then maybe one of his callers in the near future will ask him about his stint on Dead Heat.
And he'll be like, I'm very sorry, I can't talk about that right now. It's like, oh, come on, Joe. and inside he'll be crying, be like, I really do want to talk about Dead Heat.
How many times like a week do you think he's approached by people asking him about his time on the set of Dead Heat?
0. But I bet he cherishes it.
You going that high with 0?
I bet no one has ever mentioned Dead Heat. He might mention Dead Heat. He's looking in the mirror. Remember that year? You looked so good that year during Dead Heat when you were making that Miller Lite commercials. It's like, yeah, Joe, you're talking to yourself again.
It's bullshit, Raj.
It's bullshit, Raj.
That was brilliant. I think I could have pulled that off. Poor Joe.
Poor Joe. I like.
So what is your? We
haven't even talked about his hair, which is so 80s.
Treats wasn't any big deal either. So
it's better. I mean, Joe Piscopo has the hair helmet. I mean, in every essence of the word, hair helmet.
Oh, the one thing I keep meaning to do this for the show. I wanted to check real quick the Parents' Guide for Dead Heat. See if anybody bothered. Oh, all right, we got some. All right, sex and nudity. A woman is shown with nothing but a towel on. So she's not nude. But all right.
Yeah, that's that bathroom scene.
The same woman is shown disintegrating, and is shown briefly topless. However, she is heavily rotted at that point, and due to it being a puppet, it's more comical than sexual. So, the fact that she disintegrated was okay, but we also kind of saw her breasts.
Yeah.
All right, violence and gore. Frequent heavy violence and some gore. Many, all caps, many shootings, most of which show large, bloody bullet impacts. A man explodes. Chunks of gore fly all over. A woman disintegrates and melts. Kind of the same thing. The scene is short, but very gruesome. A character who can't die gets a finger diced off. He doesn't. Later, we see him badly burned. Hadisha, how do you get diced off? Dicing is not off. Yeah,
his hand was split. That's it.
Even then, yeah, it was split. And again, special effects. They cut the whole thing out. They had a whole special prosthetic for that. But you don't dice a finger off. You cut it off. You slice it off even. But you don't dice it off. People are idiots. Additionally, he slowly decomposes throughout the movie. Kind of, yeah. A man is blown up with a grenade. They're repeating themselves. A man is hit with a car and pinned to another. Very brutal, but brief. Zombies and other monsters are beaten, shot, or maimed. Isn't that okay, though, since they're zombies?
That's right. They're the undead.
Okay. Keep in mind that much of the violence is played for laughs. No, it's not. It's really not. It's really not. We think it's funny, but it wasn't. Profanity, not much.
That is true. That is true. There isn't a lot of swearing in this.
Not enough for them to bother counting, which is weird because usually like there were 5 F-bombs.
Right. It's like when Roger shoots Body Doc's phone. He just has this look like, I love that phone. That was his genuine look in that scene. He's like, I fucking love that phone.
My phone!
It's like if we did a riff tracks, we'd have to throw in a line, I love that phone.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. None. There's smoking in the film.
Yeah, when Roger goes to see what's her face, the coroner, she's smoking a cigarette.
And they talk about her smoking.
Right.
Like, I thought you quit that.
Right.
I gave up one habit for another. Those will kill you, you know. They specifically talk about smoking. These are bad parents. You are bad parents. Frightening / intense scenes. When one of the main characters perishes in the beginning, some viewers may be distressed. The 40 or 50 other characters who die in this film, not so much.
Yeah.
And it's so vague. I'm not sure which person that perishes they're talking about.
Right. You know what we didn't bring up at all? Vincent Price's cameo.
Oh yeah, that's how good it was.
Yeah. I mean, he was in bad health when he was doing this. That's why his part was so small. I read that somewhere that it would have been larger had he been in good health. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I didn't even go into his resume to find a challenge for you. I just didn't even bother.
A couple more. There's many shootouts. The one in the beginning probably being the most intense.
Oh yeah.
A character commits suicide.
Yeah. I thought that scene was particularly bad because, like, you really didn't think that out, did you? You killed yourself in front of a machine that can revive you.
Yeah. And he was the guy with the plan.
That's right. It's like, dummy. It's like, you cheated me! You cheated me! So wait a minute. We got this machine right here. Let's do it.
And once again, a slow pause where they're slowly turning their heads. Yeah, the audience is 5 steps ahead of you guys. Please, can we just move on? And then finally, the melting scene mentioned above may creep out many. However, despite being an action horror movie, much of the film is lighthearted.
I'll agree with that.
I think we should be going in here and entering our own parents' ratings stuff.
We can.
But like not making shit up, but like picking like really obscure little things in the films to complain about, like to warn people.
Joe Piscopo's one-liners. Do they ever end?
At one point, the man mentions having crabs.
At the end of the film, he has to get one more fucking one-liner in about a girl's bike seat.
Oh, and you know what? I do like the end line. I honestly think the whole film was made for the ending.
That could have been the tagline. And I would have been fine with that.
It would have ruined the end line. If it was the tagline.
I don't care. The whole movie is ruined.
But I mean, and I'm going to ruin it for everybody because because who wants to sit through this whole film just for a line at the end?
Who is going into this saying, I hope no one spoils this for me?
Oh, there's always one asshole. There is.
Well, that's no
and
doubt.
Occasionally it's me. So I'm not being too judgmental. But no, at the end, both friends, cops, are dead, and they're walking into this mist, and it's kind of supposed to be part of them decomposing and part of it like heaven, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but they're walking into the fog.
light. Yeah.
Yeah, and ironically and oddly enough, it's Joe Piscopo's character saying it, which I think is very out of character because I don't think he would be making a line like that. I thought it should have been Treat Williams' character, but he says, this could be the ending of the Beautiful Friendship.
I thought Treat Williams.
This could be the end.
I thought he delivered that line.
That sounded like Joe Piscopo to me.
I'm pretty sure.
He says, "Hey, Raj." He said, "Raj, you know what? This could be the end of a beautiful friendship."
Really? I thought Treat Williams delivered it. Because Joe Piscopo then delivered the line of, you know what I want to come back as, Raj?
That's before.
A girl's bike seat. Really?
That's before.
So
Yeah,
so I thought that then Piscopo's line comes first, and then Treat Williams comes next, and then that's it. Well, credits.
Go back because when I was listening to it, it's been a while. I'm anticipating Treat Williams saying it, and then Piscopo says, "It's like, wait a minute, you're not that clever. I've heard your other lines.
Yeah.
I should not be coming."
Well,
out
the
of your
movie
mouth."
is almost over. I could fast forward to the end. The only problem is you won't be able to hear it because it's playing through VLC player.
It's your call, sir. If you want,
I'm gonna do it. Everyone else can hear it, and they'll.
So this is dead silence.
Here it is. Got it.
Maybe you get a choice. You can be whatever you want.
Oh, you mean like a statesman or a president or a prize-winning novelist?
Personally, I'd like to come back as the seat on a girl's bike.
Joe
Now
Piscopo
that
with the
is
bike
truly
seat.
inspiring.
Treat Williams says it's inspiring.
You know, Doug,
What's that?
this could be the end of a beautiful friendship.
Yep, it's Treat Williams. Because he goes, you know, Doug, this could be the end of a beautiful friendship.
I could have sworn he said Raj.
Nope.
All right, fine. Fuck you.
Hey, gotta be right once in a while.
You're
Listening
welcome.
back to some episodes where I'm like, no, I never said that. And it's like, shit, I really did. Where it's like seconds after, it's like, no, you said something different. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. And it's like, yeah, you dumbass, you fucking said it. Every once in a while, I'll listen back to an episode where it's like, fuck.
Well, you
But not tonight. Not tonight. Treat Williams.
Oh, I never saw this. You know what? There's not really much in the film to research. I didn't even bother checking the trivia in IMDb.
Uh-huh.
I think we have to end the show on this little tidbit. Writer Terry Black was approached by New World Pictures to write a sequel to Dead Heat. Black told a New World executive that a sequel would be hard to do because all the main characters died at the end of the first film. The executive... And I believe this 100%. The executive responded, "You've got a resurrection machine. You figure it out."
Yeah, no, that definitely happened. that definitely happened. Yeah, you don't have to be in Hollywood to know that definitely happened. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you,
It's
New
like-
World, for filling the void of
So this is episode 173 of Moviesucktastic. Thank you as always for joining. You can go to our website at moviesucktastic.com, completely brand new and redone. You can listen to the show there. You can download the show there. You can watch the show live there. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. If you want to email us, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. You can also download the free app for your Android device, smartphone, tablet, whatever you use. And coming soon, for all you iPhone users, we're going to have a mobile version of the site very soon. It's coming soon. I mean, you could still use it on your Android, but if you have the app, you don't need to. This is strictly for iPhone users, because we're not spending twice as much money to give you something for free. We're not crazy. And everything I just talked about is in the app, and it will be, to some extent, in the mobile version. I'm going to try and incorporate all of it. And that's about it. You can join us next week when we review The Punisher. My challenge to Scott. That should be fun. So, Scott, any words of wisdom?
I punish the guilty.
I was so hoping he'd have a fucking jaywalker line in there. Fucking jaywalkers.
Thank you for listening, everybody.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Fuck you, Skype.